I'm playing Vincent again. Let's see what we can do. I want to play some 3-3. Don't really want to worry about which one is better. Let's do this. And he has studied these variations a lot, so I could play it just to learn something. But more realistically, I should just play the simple one. I never played otherwise anyways, so. Okay. Maybe up here I'll give him the chance, if he wants to play his b12 move. Did I say b12? b13 I meant. Yeah. So he told me that the right sort of follow-up for black, if black wants to continue locally, is to push and Hane. So let's try that one, because actually I haven't gotten a chance to practice this variation yet. Every time I played b13, the opponent just tenuki'd, and then I got c14, so I want to see how this can turn out too. White can tenuki. So now we have many choices. Don't really want to invite other complicated one either. Although maybe I could just play this. Yeah, okay, let's play this one, but when he plays here, which he might, then maybe I don't go for the cut. Instead, we do this. Not sure if this is common in this shape, but in general, you can go to the second line to reduce the effectiveness of white playing r17, or other things to do with sort of, when you play r13, you create 2 cutting points. So by playing s13, there's only 1 cutting point after white pushes. So it's a stronger shape at the expense of being a little bit lower. So far so good. I usually like this Atari and go down follow-up down here, but maybe it's too early for that because the left side is so wide open. We could play this fight. Atari here, extend. Also seems a bit early. So I guess now would be a time to ask, do I have a follow-up up here? Do I remember what I'm supposed to do? I think he told me a couple weeks ago, but cannot be wedge because giving the Panuki is way too good for white. It's like it reversed to a Joseki, but I wasted one move at c18. So that's no good. Could try some kind of pincer, but then I don't know the right shape. This could be a little bit interesting. It's an interesting shape. Then maybe I'm just supposed to extend here actually. Let's try that. That seems simple. I have a sort of big follow-up here, and it's awkward for white to directly save those two stones. Yeah, this looks like it could be Joseki. I have a hint of recognition when I see this. So now when white spent the move here, maybe I could play this one where I Atari and go down. It's not that big. So I wonder, is it better for me to spend the move on top? Because white coming in here, it's kind of awkward. So I could play this move. It's quite nice spacing on both sides. Okay, let's try that. We make quite a respectable territory up here. So he prevents me from going first here. And this, always when I consider playing this as white, like I used to play this many times, but now usually when I want to go for this, I've already committed to taking territory here and I'm scared of black switching sides. So should I be the one switching sides here now? I feel like white is trying to make territory here. Like if I just capture, white gets beautiful influence in both directions. So let's ruin one of the sides a bit. the standard sequence. Now I usually play this one, right? There's some other variations. Here, Atari extend. Then I get a bit hazy. I think I just play the one I'm more comfortable with. So the drawback here is I don't have a lot of points. My group would actually be kind of harassed. But I've been in the position as white before trying to attack this group, and it's not easy. You know, even if you play b7, b6, and you somehow get the time to play b1, it has to be really strong around for it not to be able to make two whites immediately. So I'm not too worried. But this follow-up for me is kind of big, because it kind of puts some pressure here, it feels like. Like, do I have b11 as a move? As a follow-up to this? Yes, I think this makes a lot of sense. It's kind of important point for both sides, since we're a little bit weak, both of us. So even though it's a very narrow space, like compared to lower side on the right, it feels urgent to me. And then, of course, one interesting point here is, I guess white has this ladder. Let me just double check, not trust him on it. Yeah, it goes straight into these stones. It would be kind of difficult to break this ladder. Like, even if I go here, does it work? Yeah, this is enough to break it. But this would not be enough to break it. So that's annoying, because, you know, this is the better shape down here. This one has some issues, but it might be okay still. I think this could be okay. Like, there's a shape problem with this Cosmi and then here, but it's not really anything happening actually. So maybe this shape is completely fine in this case. It still leaves some more weakness if white, let's say, plays q10, but realistically white will have to fix the ladder. Then I can play r8, but I don't know, white's ladder fixing move is going to be really big for the lower side, so that's annoying. Okay. So I do have those two cuts. a very annoying move. Although maybe I don't have to be super scared about white cutting. I will kind of be alive in that case. Locally it seems like just connecting is best choice for me. If I start like pushing here, I feel like I'm helping white to make this shape stronger. And if this push, I mean this push feels a little bit less submissive at least. White could still think about cut, but it's not so easy. So let's see, immediate cut this side. It's still kind of annoying. Okay, let's just connect. I'm not happy about it. I feel like and this exchange feels so pleasant for white. Now if I ever manage to pull this stone out, it's much less severe, because when I cut here, white can just Atari connect out to this stone. I wanted to just check that my stream was working correctly, because the stream elements thing didn't pop up, but looks to be working. So yeah, this is one of these ladder fixing moves. Even though the ladder was already working, but this means that I can no longer play a move to a ladder breaking move around here, so it makes sense. White is building this. I feel like it would make a lot of sense now for me to come in here, somewhere in this region, but probably this move specifically. Looks quite good in this case. Yeah, I will just play here. So white has some options here to... If white takes the corner, then I probably live in this area. And I feel quite happy about that result. If I live here without getting too harassed, then I feel like white's influence here is a little bit wasted and k7 is not doing a lot. So I can also choose to play something like p3, and then maybe I will go into the corner and white gets a bigger outside. Here I have to choose p3 or q3. q3 Atari, and here, and Atari, extend, and there, Atari, Oh, maybe this is still the way to go. I could just extend, but white connects and my group will not be totally fine. I think I kind of prefer this one. It's a little bit more... I have some more forcing moves, basically. It's funny, like, from this position that, okay, these three, like, the only stone you're planning to save here is p2. The other ones you just give up. So now, I used to always play this one. And I might play this one in this case. AI apparently likes this move often. If you get to squeeze, it's such a nice shape from lag. Or mostly like it's a bad shape for white. I also I feel like this also become even better because white played s2 and not s3. Like if there's some future where I kind of squeeze these stones from this side, then I have an extra liberty. Although, yeah, it's very similar. So if I play here and white protects, then I get quite a nice shape. Quite a solid shape down here. Although white still has this. Okay, so I mean option 1, I play Kosumi, white presumably plays something like o5. And then the question is, what is my next move here? It's still a little bit awkward. I thought k3 was the shape, but m2 is an annoyance. I can do this, give the 2 stones, it's awkward. I could play some like this, then I don't really have a base here. Also not much of a base. If this instead... Or I guess I could also play this one and then just jump. But white may play Kosumi. Okay, let's jump. So now I have a whole bunch of cutting points. And I don't really know the shape. Could play M2. Kind of makes sense. It's almost alive. Probably being alive is worth a lot. Like if I try something like this Atari just seems too good for white. Could also try to focus on the outside, something like this. And then when white Ataris, I give it. It's also possible. Because white cutting here works so nicely to make this area, so maybe this is actually the way to go. Okay. It feels kind of weird to connect solidly. This would not be my first instinct at all. I have a feeling that like some tiger mouth is the way to make a flexible shape. But just for every tiger, like I checked all 4 of the tiger mouths. Like this one, this one, this one, this one. And for all of them, it's kind of annoying to leave, let's say, this peep, or this Atari, or this Atari, or here when white cuts, there's an extra cutting point. So by connecting solidly, now when white cuts here, I have a stronger shape. So that's the idea. But connecting solidly, the drawback is there's less eye shape compared to a tiger's mouth. So we're sort of hoping we don't get surrounded here. But it looks hard to, like, if white goes for this capture, then I Atari, get an extra Atari, then maybe a tiger mouth. I give up some points, but I feel like my shape is very good. So now I went even further, like I said back here. It's funny, we only say P2. We don't even say P2, we say none of these stones. Give all of them up. What's nicer if white doesn't play M4, M3 immediately, then I had the chance to connect. Then probably it would be M2, and it's very big. So I guess he felt kind of obliged to play here immediately, and then we get this result. White should probably capture. If you go down, so for one thing I can go down in center, but also I have some move like this is my center. Is it? No, wait, so turn. Then let's imagine I've connected here and I play here, and white turns, and no, okay, no, so it has to be this one. Okay, so the point is I can get the tiger's mouth in center like this. That seems quite useful. should I play it immediately? If I don't play it now, I feel like white can turn or peep. So let's do it. I can still peep here, I guess. Yes, maybe this is also okay. I don't know if this was better for white than... But the point is, if white just captures, then I would get this Atari, and then I tag him out. So I take Gore, but it's better shape for me. So now white took Gore, but got more points. Maybe have slightly less eye shape. I might play another Tiger's Mouth. Just keep this group healthy. There's some other shapes too, like here. This has some weaknesses. Touch, cut. Probably okay. I guess it would be nice to move a little bit faster than this. The stone is not very important, I guess. So the end result here is white's corner is big. It's quite big. But white's side is non-existent. He like went all the way in and we're out with a group that seems pretty healthy. So this is basically what I wanted when I came inside. Originally with the P2 move. I was hoping just to give the corner and get a group inside. So a moment ago I was concerned, let's say around here, when I thought I might give white some influence on the outside. If I allow white cut out here, then I thought, oh, this area could also be very big for white, if white gets to play R12. In this position, now R12 doesn't look so interesting anymore. Maybe it's even possible that I could attack this group. Let's imagine I play Q12. I could make some points later with R8. So that's something we could think about. On the left side, there's still this B11 idea. If white tries to cut with B10 and we come out, then I would be happy. I guess the problem is that white will just play C11. I can push. Come back here, but white gets strong shape in the process. So like that would be nice if I really wanted more of a base for this left side group, but I already invested this extra C7 move here, keeping it strong. So that's just a few points. Okay, so that's kind of a bad idea. C12. Push white down, Han on top. Doesn't really do much. Attach. Now attach I could get behind. Naturally white would like to Hane, but then I wedge. If white wedges, then I Atari. Extend. Still I'm kind of making bad shape, I guess. But maybe it's possible just the sequence attach, wedge, Atari, connect. It's a little bit good for me if I want to build the top. If I don't play that, white could play c14, which is big. I would most prefer to get to continue on the right side here. That looks like the most attractive. And I was going to say that might mean white is going to prevent that, but okay, white has other ideas. A fifth line shoulder hit. It's kind of unexpected. We usually respond to a shoulder hit, either h16 or j15. So I push here. White can extend or jump. Either case, I kind of need to respond. I get very solid points. So that seems kind of good enough. White may be hoping to get some influence towards this area, but doesn't look super dangerous for me yet in terms of how many points white can get. Alternative is I push here, white extends, and then I might just play g17. So it's similar. But I think I kind of prefer this. If jump, maybe I wedge. Jump, wedge. Okay. So this kind of lessens the impact of me playing here. Doesn't feel to be making much sense now. Could go for this idea still. Okay, I think I like this. Try to get this in and then see if I can because some extra stones here could help me if I could swallow this stone up later. So no, this is just a very big move for points. How big exactly? Maybe not big enough to play right away. We should be able to calculate this. I think we can assume that if I play here, I will get to capture. And let's assume white would connect in response to that. It's a little bit oversimplifying, but that's 6 points plus like it's like 10 points. White is regardless not making any points. I like 10 points or something, I guess. I don't think I play it right away, but we could play it soon. how about this kind of shape? Is it okay? Should it be attached instead? Attach Hana here. It's a bit much. Let's just play this. Something about this looks awkward to me. Maybe it's this elephant's jump. But, you know, based on the principle that you should not attach to something you want to attack generally, seems like this should be better than attaching. Now I'm still having some hope that I could... I'm kind of threatening Q12 next. Still think that looks like a nice point. Q12 for me or R12 for white. Although R12, maybe I can just push and cut. Doesn't look entirely unreasonable. And if white, plays around here now, then maybe I try to expand here. Not sure how exactly. We could also just take points. The sequence look kind of stupid if I don't do anything. Either take these points or follow up. Sort of use these 2 extra stones here that I got somehow. Maybe I can play this. If white extend this direction, it looks like there's some bad agi with my 017 attach. So I like to play this move when if it's not possible for white to go further, if white has to pull back, then I can Hana. Another option would be L18, but that gives some more options to white, to Han or extend. And in that case, if white pull back, then we might anyways go back to the same sequence. Same position as this sequence when white pulls back and I Han it. Slightly awkward shape here. Tari and extend, go up. There's some weakness, but looks hard to use. White might want to probe now. Later I could also choose to play just, K17 or something, give some points. White could probe here at some point, but then you give up the chance to just play the other good endgame, which is the Hane. Okay, so I could play in the corner. I guess I do. I could also extend on the side. This doesn't seem so attractive now that white is already settled up here. But this seems big. If white pulls back, then I feel like I already gained a little bit with this exchange, and then I come down here. I could also just take the corner, but I feel like this is more points. Even like what if I go far here? Is it crazy? It's a little bit crazy. White is so strong over here. I don't know, it looks fun. Let's do it. Still, I feel like now when I had this move, for white to play r12, I can just push and cut. And I think we somehow managed this fight. We can always come back and live in the corner. And if white plays some more slower move that cannot get cut, then I can just take the points on the side. So now white chose to take the corner, then I could now sort of finish off this area. Anything else that's big? I think this is kind of big because I could really get into trouble here if white splits now. I have like 3 potentially weak groups, this one, this single stone, and this group. So to make this area more secure, I'm both making some points, possibly, if I get some more moves, and yeah, making them safe. And my thinking behind playing S18 and then Tanuking is that if I play here now, white plays S17, then me playing S16 is not in any way Sente. But now I exchanged S18 for Q18. It has some drawback because, okay, P17 stone is stronger. But the upside is that now I can play S16, threaten to kill one stone. So, I don't know if that's worth it, but that was my thinking. I'm heading into Biyomi soon. He still has 8 minutes. I have not thought at all about the count. Let's maybe do a rough count. I feel like it's pretty even. That's as much as I can say. I got like around 50 points for both sides. That might mean that one side is, winning by 10, and I'm just bad at counting. But it's not like I'm not behind by 30. Still, I should still be able to just play normal game. Don't have to go crazy with overplay or resign on the spot. The feeling is like I had some results that felt quite good for me, like getting down into the lower sides, but I have a feeling I'm a little bit behind just based on, I don't know, my areas are not that big and I played some moves that might be kind of slow. So my feeling is white is a bit better. Can I just like go here, grab some points? It seems worth it to, like if white gets to play from this stone, it's quite easy to save it. So by playing here, now it's much harder to save. White comes out now, he's hurting this other group, hurting the chances to make points in the center. So now this, I might capture this, and then I have to be less worried about this clamp. If I have some stones out here, then when white clamps, I can probably go down. At some point, I might like to play this empty triangle. It's not super urgent, but it would be nice to get in there. Because white would kind of have to pull back. That seems like a nice exchange to get. Is there something else I could do here? Like if I jump, could I then also get M19 center? Not really, because white's push N17 is center then. I'm just thinking here, like if there's some way I can get this move in center, that's quite valuable for the endgame. Since white's Han is so big, I have to back off all the way to here. This jump is not entirely out of the question. Kind of threatening some cuts in this region. Interesting. So we have two undecided areas in the center, well, more than two maybe, but the big ones I'm thinking about is how many points will white make here, how many points will I make here. This one, it's not so important, but just probably a few points for black. So here, white can close off this hole. Otherwise, I guess I can turn. Okay, but white wants to reduce here. Kind of feel like honing on top here. Is it crazy? I could get cut, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Could get cut if white Han is here. I would play here, white Atari, white connects. And in that case, it looks to me like white is too short on liberties with these stones. So white can extend. Maybe I connect. If I play here, maybe I'm in trouble.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 periods left. Ten, 9, 8.
Like I have to connect, but I don't like the white can go here.
Ten, 9, 8.
Is this something?
7, 6.
Let's try. I can't let the stone just get completely swallowed up. That seems unacceptable. So I can save these stones, but I'm in some trouble on the other side. Okay, what if I get this in there?
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Okay,
4.
let's do this first. I also need to be a bit concerned about this group, I guess. So. Safety first. To me, this looks like it's connected up here, and then I'm hoping that I can either come out this direction or play something like S11. I could play some Senti here first, is the annoying thing. Either just jump down immediately or Hane connect. So that looks very bad for me, actually. I'm slightly regretting now. I think maybe I should just play S11 on the last move. Seems like an important point. have like one eye that I can make here. This is kind of giving me a chance now to come back here again.
Nine, 8, 7.
I don't even know if this is the right shape, but
4.
let's do it. Like, does it gain much? It's still white Hane here, you know. Maybe we both here were like worried about our respective groups. It's a very sad result for me.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
I need a moment
2,
to
1.
grieve.
3 periods left. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
I think I want to take care of this. My first thought was to play something like S9, threaten to connect the groups up, but anyways, you know, I will get cut somewhere. And it's not really big on points to threaten to connect on Dame. So let's help the group in a way which maybe reduces white. Okay, and then I instantly regret it. Yeah, I regret. I have regrets.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
This move doesn't even seem any good. Okay, what goes down? Okay. Okay. I would like to connect here. I don't know if I can. There's other big points on the board. Maybe I don't
10,
need to.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Now, if we were to connect here, at least this group doesn't have twice. Let's play here. So I could connect here, but then white cuts, and it's like anyways got there for me to set the stone. So this area is kind of not much going on. Could play here. Some extra eye shape. Doesn't seem like a terrible idea. It's kind of double center. Could still imagine some future where there's a future where there's a Samidori here, I guess, but that's kind of a distant hope.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
I'm going to jump here. Give white something to think about with these cutting points. Since I have this R17 kind of center, this is threatening to push cut Q17. Semlarkov. That should be an established term if it isn't already. Every time you lose a group, you're like, oh, could be Semidori. Okay. I mean, guess I should extend. I mean, now I'm quite confident that the game is bad for me. If you cannot tell from my tone of voice, this right side did not go to my liking. I'm not sure this even does much, but I kind of need to do something for my group, so we might as well do this. Now we either get to connect, I was trying to say connect and cut at the same time. We either get to connect, or we get to cut, or we get to capture S17. All of these help in some way with the safety of this group. But the problem is, like, it's not really threatening much, white just plays away. But now, if we pretend this is cut, I mean, this cutting point is kind of interesting. So, yeah, let's do it. Might not even need to like extend here, but maybe I should. Connect, threaten the Samidori.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
I think I like to play this kind of shape instead. I feel like if white gets to connect to this stone, it's too easy. And like the reason I wanted to extend here was to prevent white from tarring out. But that's. I think we don't worry about that. Maybe we should worry about that actually. But our shape down here is quite strong. I can capture this stone. So I think what white probably does here is to Atari and make a tiger. Then I come out and I kind of make these points quite naturally. White donated an extra stone to our relief budget for Antons who are sad because they lost a bunch of points. So this is kind of working out. I think some things are going in our favor. At the very least, it's a little bit complicated now. And he seems to be worried about it because he's down to sudden death. We can still connect here since I didn't exchange this, but then I get more points in the corner. So we create a broken Kema shape. Always nice. And if you... I was just going to talk about this. I don't really feel like giving an inch here. Come at me. It should be... my feeling is that it should be hard for white to get something done here while worrying about this. Now maybe just this shape though. So that this kind of simplifies a bit. Maybe white gets something here. I don't have time to read everything out. But this is much simpler for me now. I don't have to worry about dying with sort of big group here. White is threatening to capture, so I can extend in center. Feels good. Okay, now what?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Is this a shape? At this point, I guess we're trying to... probably what I should do instead is to help this group. I should just capture this or something. This could still be in very real danger. I said this was safer up here because I thought, okay, now I can capture like either cutting stone here, but you know, white can still try to save something in center and make trouble. Okay, so now I do think I just take this. Could also push out, like we could say, oh, we create another broken Kema shape, but then white breaks through our Kema, so like it doesn't really make sense. If white anyways plays h9 next, we would rather have j7 than j8.
Ten, 9, 8.
Backing off a bit here, making sure I have one eye on L4. This group should be safe now. It seems like this could be two eyes. I considered for a moment to be more aggressive, something like g8. But let's be safe first, and then we threaten an attack. Okay. How about we ask if we can come through here first? Because if I just push, then white is threatening to... I kind of need this move. Okay, so white goes there. I guess that means we lost some points there, that's not great, but we will cut here. And white will have to live quite small now if white wants to save these stones. Some interesting turns. Okay. Could play something here, but I guess I just
10, 9, 8, 7.
let's play this. This is big still. Should remember that point. But there's been so much else going on here. Need a move here if white tigers wrecks our side. That seemed like a reasonable shape. Now I could kind of make sure that
10,
these are dead.
9.
Okay, so we got those. Good. There's some points here, but maybe not as big as this.
10, 9, 8, 7.
So let's just take this. Let's take some cash. And I have no idea what to score now. Things went bad for me, then things went good for me. But is it enough? We don't want white to get many points here. Like white gained in this area because I was planning to pick up these stones and now instead white got a bunch. Let's just turn. Is there some other big endgame? Save these in Gotha. Or just connect here. Maybe this?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Need to be careful about this group, but I'm feeling greedy. Should be okay. I could save this down, can't I? This I think we respond to. I mean, that was kind of my center, but it wasn't quite my center, so I didn't play it. And I still get some. I didn't gain too much with that, so I think it's okay. Although maybe I shouldn't have responded, I don't know. I was just thinking earlier that I was planning to respond, so just went along with that. Okay, now we do need to think about this group.
10, 9,
So fine, maybe respond to this too. White playing some annoying endgames. But when I get center, I have big plans. White, I guess white could honey here too. It's so annoying. So I was saying before, I could play f14. That would save this stone. But also, okay, so white fixes that. Then I can come in from this side. Some way. This one white maybe just cuts.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Not sure if this or the Kosumi was better. I think maybe I was sort of imagining white would cut here, but okay, maybe not. That one.
ten, 9, 8,
Let's just do this immediately. Kind of probe here, I guess. White will play h4. If this one, I think white cuts, although then I could Atari. Intriguing.
ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Let's start with the simpler move. White chose a different option down there. This leaves me some other. So white got more points down here. So maybe that was a bad exchange. I get to do this. Could even connect her in the future, that's interesting. But first I need to fix this cut.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Oh, just this. It's quite an exciting endgame, this, like, if you can call it an endgame. There's still, even though, like, sometimes when it's only these, like, small center things left, it feels so boring. But here I feel like there's a lot going on. Okay.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Guess I need this. I don't want to get cut here. Could also fix the cut with some other move. But this has a pretty good follow-up down here. Oh, that's annoying. Still threatening this.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Okay, let's actually play this, since this also has some follow-ups. I can harm here, for instance. Otherwise, I kind of feel like this is bigger, but hard to say. It would be annoying if white got to connect down here. I'll just push immediately, why not? There might be some good reason why not. Maybe this Atari was important or something, but okay. This capture is also soon a decent move. It's just, it's very gote for white, so I was in no rush to play it. But it's starting to become the biggest thing. Let's just make sure we get it. Yeah, I figured white might try this one. Probably I should add a move here. If white cuts me, I can live.
10, 9, 8.
I should throw in here, of course, but there's no real rush, I guess. Still very little idea about the score. I will resist the urge to check the score estimator, keep the excitement. Also because I always trust it too much and end up regretting it.
10, 9, 8, 7.
I thought this was kind of big, is it not? um,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6. 10, 9, 8.
I think white is still ahead, just based on like this is big. But I'm hoping it's kind of close. So I have one way to make two eyes here. There's a second eye over here if I need it. So let's keep that, I guess, by playing here. Then we can still turn and ruin this eye. I had a plan here that white would have to worry about living with this group, which seems to be working out. Because if I push here now, there's some trouble. So white protects. So this is worth 2 points. What else?
10, 9, 8.
Let's push. But 2 points is nothing to... That's some points.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Let's just take it. Since like I make 2 points and white can delete those in center, so this is like almost a 4-point move. Compared to this, for instance, white reduces 1 point in center. This is maybe not strictly speaking center, but it's big.
10, 9.
I think white gains. Reduces not only 1 point, but 2 by pushing down there. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe white was worried about me throwing in and starting the ko. That seems a little bit unrealistic for me. It's much heavier for me than white. I did not believe there was anything going on here. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, seems he just wanted some endgame. Fair enough. Unfortunately, there will never be a Semidori here now, after white captured this stone. It's too bad. Let's just make sure this is ours. This means white has to add one extra stone eventually. Then here, I think. I should push here. Could have done that last move actually. This one we should be maybe slightly careful. Let's just respond. This is not really. It's just 1 point, is it not?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Here, 1 point. Possible extra point. Okay, you can take that, I guess. It's too bad white cannot tarry there, actually. But that's kind of... No, that doesn't make sense, because 10, this is my... Okay.
9, 8.
Here. There is actually something here, right? Like, I can... If I play next here, I could play this, threaten an eye, and if white wants to falsify that, then I get to Atari. Possibly falsify this. So that's nice. Ah, fancy. Okay, sure. So I could have Atari'd. Oh no, he even gets to... Oh no, 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 no. Oh, darn it. He even gets this. That's terrible. I really hope, if I lose this game by a small margin, I'm going to be so mad. That's such a nice endgame from him. So let's hope that I lose by a larger margin. Because I totally could have just just Atari now, and he can't do that.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Okay, so now here. Yeah, like both white, like this was like a 3 points gain for white. Ridiculous to gain that many points this late. So yeah, so 1 point here.
10, 9, 8, 7,
that's the biggest.
6.
So big, this area. Okay, let's just see. How it was.
Pass. Remove the dead stones.
It's kind of big. Yeah, so it wasn't that endgame that lost me. Lost me the game.
Wins.
Darn, I was losing for apparently all of that. I will show you. It's kind of hard to show in this view actually. Maybe I can do it this way. So there you can see the graph. So yeah, it was kind of close up until here, and then so now I'm like 5-7 points behind, and then this fight was just a disaster. I cut back a bit here. I thought I might be winning at some point here, but yeah, even then I didn't catch back up. So we'll do a little review. I just need to get my...
Hello.
Hello. Well played.
Thanks for the game.
Thank you. Yeah, I felt pretty good throughout the opening. I suspected I might be a little bit behind, but I thought, still kind of close. And then it was just such a disaster there on the right side.
Yeah. I think I got a small advantage when I got to capture the F4 stone in a ladder. Usually that Joseki is a little bit good
Review
for
started.
white if white gets to capture the stone in the ladder. So yeah. Here I mean I started a review.
Yep.
Yeah, here
I see it.
perfect. Yeah. So I don't know, like top left, of course. I already told you how to play against it, so I wasn't expecting to have a very good result there. But I don't know, like
I wanted to take the opportunity to play C15 because like I said, when I played B13 myself, so far I didn't get to practice this variation.
yeah.
I didn't
think
know, like, if black wants to continue later, like, what is black's follow-up?
B18 is good. You can also play C13 or C11. Those are all feasible follow-ups.
C13, C11, okay.
Yeah. I think most of the time the bot prefers B18 and then white just takes the extension. Tiny bit good for black because black is so solid in the corner.
Okay.
But less than a point difference. So here I thought you'll take me for the ride with the complicated variations.
Yeah, I mean, these I also don't. Did you think I knew these?
I don't know.
Do
I
you
feel
know
like not very well. I think I feel like in Germany when I look at the top boards, there's always this Joseki with this fight.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, because I'm not super versed in it, I usually try to avoid it. I don't even low approach 3-4 points that much. Usually I just high approach them and
Mm.
but I felt like in this position because you're already so strong on the top side, in the top left corner, low approach is maybe a little bit better, but I don't know. So yeah, here this is like similar to in our first game you also played this kind of move. I think with like you had some strength and you wanted to make points immediately instead of expanding it,
Ah,
sort
you
of
think
thing.
it's a little bit too safe?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I felt I was a little bit happy after this move because I feel like if you spend a move, then I don't really have an obligation of reducing it much because like you have an
Yeah.
appropriate amount of territory for the
Mm.
amount of moves that you spend.
That's
Whereas if
true.
you can get to make it larger later, then potentially you get to get a little extra.
So I think I don't
But
remember
I don't,
quite the shape last time, but I remember last time when you told me that I had been sort of felt the same way in the game. I was like, thought, oh, maybe I should have jumped instead. This time I didn't think about it at all. I was so happy to play J16. I mean, so happy, but
okay.
I thought it was a fine move. But now that you mention it, I realized that the upper left, since the upper left is so strong, uh, I guess I shouldn't be worried because I thought I was going to play this first, and then I thought, oh, it could be very annoying if you come into the top side. So that's why I
Yeah, I thought
switched.
like you could go for a stronger attack against my group immediately, right?
Mm.
And then maybe go topside in the process. And like even against this group, you later potentially have this follow-up, right? To press me down.
Mm-hmm.
So we can imagine variations, I think, in which the topside gets very big. And so I don't know, like this felt a little bit like self-reducing, like the area becomes less interesting after this move. So I was a little bit happy.
Mm. No, I
And
agree.
yeah. And then here,
Do you think
yeah,
E5 is better for me? I know there's some variation here,
um,
but I don't know the variation, so I just went for the one I knew.
yeah, you can play this one. Um, I think sometimes there's also this one, but I don't know. Like I think like with this, I can either play here or here. In either case, you can just sort of play something like this or this, I think.
Hmm. And
Um,
because you said that you thought it was good for you when you got to capture on F5,
yeah, yeah.
so do you think this was the what was slow, or just that this whole Joseki is somehow not favored anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just a little bit happy here. I thought I'm probably leading like 2 points or something,
Mm.
and AI seems to think the same. So I don't know. Like 2 points is nothing, of course, but I don't know. I'm happy if I can win by 2 points after 50
Mhm.
moves.
This movie in particular, like
So
D7 was so annoying. Like it's such a nice shape for you, and I felt I had to respond.
yeah, I think you do, and I think like I've seen this shape often come up in AI games, and I thought specifically in this position, I'm very happy to have the exchange because then later I can try to steal like this.
Yeah. And
Um,
I felt the exchange is also helpful if somehow I manage to pull out F4 later, right? So
yeah, yeah.
so
So
D7 is just super helpful, while C7 is useless, you know. So it's yeah. Then I was annoyed.
yeah. Then I
Then
decided to break the ladder myself because
yeah.
I wasn't really sure what to do with my P17 stones. I was like thinking one potential follow-up is to play something like this, but then I give you the ladder breaker. So now I would like to spend a move in the fight, but I also want to like
Hmm.
re-secure the ladder. So I don't know. I thought by playing this first, I can prepare R12 maybe,
Yeah. I mean,
but
I
I'm
think
not
it
sure.
makes sense because I was also thinking about playing Q12 directly as a ladder breaker. But
Yeah, yeah,
I wonder if it's like a little bit because in the game I was happy to just get a group inside there, and I felt like K7 um, was like a little bit floating. So
yeah.
I don't know if it's actually like
Um,
I know you were just always ahead from this point on, but I was a little bit happy after I got to invade the lower side basically.
yeah. AI wants to settle the top group like this, which I briefly considered, but I thought it wasn't so good because I thought like this kind of thing is annoying. But apparently AI doesn't seem to mind it. Oh, actually, the letter is not for me now.
Yeah,
Then maybe.
yeah.
Then
Even if it
never
was,
mind.
it looks like a very fragile shape for me. I don't think I would
Yeah.
consider this kind of cutting sequence. Um,
I mean, later I played this kind of thing, but only after what I thought was a necessary defense stone here. Like,
mm.
I thought it works better if I have this, but
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
this
know. I just,
move cannot be bad either. And 14, when you play it later, it's a very solid idea.
yeah. And then we play this stuff. Should be all good, I think. Actually, AI doesn't like so much that you go for the corner. It thinks it's a little bit better to just
Hmm,
play like this
interesting. And
and
then
then
what? How
immediately
far? Where do you go now? M3 or
punish.
L3 or?
L3.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I guess like you can get something like J5 or something aiming to pull out the stone later. So I think you have yeah, like more strength than if K7 was immediate capture on F4, on G4,
Hmm.
then I think your group would be weaker. But I think I like the stone at K7 better anyway because it influences the center more.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I didn't go for this is like I'm not 100% confident how I live locally here, like with that group. Like I'm sure it would be
Mm.
fine in practice, but I don't like know for sure that I have twice. So then,
Yeah,
if I'm going to come and attack, I felt this shape was more, now I'm out, kind of. So it
yeah.
felt more less
In
scary
the
to play this
game,
way.
AI wants you to connect on the second line, yeah, and
Yeah.
it thinks that um, connecting at the top is the first somewhat significant mistake. It loses like 4 points.
Okay. So here I thought,
Mm.
let's see what happens if would you peep now, L3?
I was reading a little bit. I thought like usually I think without the K7 stone, it's reasonable to just cut here, I think,
Hmm.
and like go for something like this, maybe.
Because I thought instead of
But I
4
can't.
here, I thought like you would cut. Oh, I can Atari, okay. I didn't see I could
Yeah,
Atari
it's
actually.
pretty
Because
annoying.
my reading was you cut, I extend, and then you play like R12, and I thought this right side looked too good for you basically. This is why I didn't go for this. But the fact that I can Atari L5 is also interesting.
Yeah, I don't think you need to worry too much about this side, right? Like you can play stuff like this if it becomes necessary.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, because it's very
In the
big. I
game,
ended up giving up many points there when I gave up N3, so.
yeah. Oh, and here even in the game I thought like uh this move kind of sucks. I was still debating between playing N2 and M2 and somehow I just clicked. I don't know why.
Okay, yeah, so it should be N2, right? Like does AI,
Yeah.
what does AI say about it?
Yeah.
How big is the difference?
It's like almost 6 points.
Yeah, okay. That's good. Because I
Yeah.
mean, I also, in the game, I was like, this must be, it must be N2, but then I was questioning myself. Because you do get, like, here I do get slightly strong, like I get M2 Atari, and then I make the Tiger's
Yeah.
Mouth or something. So you get
Um,
slightly more ingot in that variation, but it's,
True, but like you need to spend a move
yeah,
to
it's
fix
it's
the
like
cut.
one move difference. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
a big difference.
And what do I get for it? Like,
Some extra
uh,
points. Yeah. So it makes sense. It's okay, 6 points worse. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, you jump out, and like at this point, like, uh, like I was pretty close to just writing in chat. I have no idea what to do right now. And like I I had no like it was so hard for me to come up with any idea how to proceed with this game.
Mm.
It, like I can't really attack your group at the lower side, I think. Like I didn't see an effective way to do that.
Yeah,
And of course I can like add a move to my top right group, but even then, like where do I play? I guess AI still wants to play here,
mm.
but I don't know.
So was it now you played N14 or? Oh no,
Yet
you
now I
dispersed.
played, yeah,
No, but you see, this is the upside of me playing kind of like first like playing this boring move J16 on top, and then just picking this variation on the bottom where I'm just like out, like I'm a bit behind, but I made the game very boring, so it's
yeah,
hard for you to harass me, I guess. But okay, this
yeah.
was
Yeah, I thought like thought about jumping here immediately, but then I felt like this could be a good exchange for me after like if here
mm,
because if you don't like in a game you immediately I don't know, you first made some exchanges there, ended in center and then spend another move there,
mm,
I think. And I thought if I get center somehow, I don't know, you play something and then I could like I don't know, play something like this or so, like somehow make use of the stone and just press you down. And
yeah. So maybe I should J15 instead of H16 to
yeah, AI just doesn't want you to answer at all. Which
oh, wow.
says,
I considered it briefly, but I was like, no, it's so big if you play H16, so
I don't know, like your top left group is still so strong. You
it's
don't
true.
really have to
It's
win.
true. I'm just thinking about the points, like the amateur that I am. I want those points.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but like AI isn't really a fan of any of the moves that we played in this sequence. Like shoulder hit is bad, this move is bad, this move is bad, this move is bad. None of them are like mistakes, but like big mistakes, but still like
Yeah.
um I this one it doesn't like so much.
Yeah, I thought in my head it
Um
seemed like a good idea. Then after I played it, I was like, I guess I don't gain too much except this endgame follow-up on B16.
yeah, I
So,
think the worst part about it is that AI just tells me to Atari from this side.
hmm,
Um and then just Tenuki.
hmm.
And yeah, but I guess since I wouldn't play that way, uh, it's reasonable because like your wedge is like a 3 point mistake. My Atari is a 3 point mistake, so balances out.
Hmm.
Okay, and then finally I played at M18, which AI has been wanting me to do forever. Yeah, and I went to the corner.
This was a
And
bit much, I think.
yeah, AI doesn't like it very much. It thinks like the variation it's giving is playing here first and then getting into a fight. Um, what happens if I just capture the stone? Where does it want to play next? Like, it wants to, as white, it wants to play like this and start something, or I don't know. But say I would just answer here, then
Yeah, that
hmm.
seems like a good exchange just by itself, but
Yeah, no, I just want to know where it wants to play next for black, but it's having trouble loading right now. Mm, yeah, I don't know. So there was that. Um, Still interestingly, it wants me to play here. Apparently, like denying you the ability to harass me there is
I guess
pretty valuable.
if I play H5, you capture, and if I get to jump out to H7, it looks
Yeah,
like
you
I separate the stone.
more strength and so some potential. Because I feel like in terms of points right now, I'm doing well, right? Like with the giant bottom right and then top right.
Mm-hmm.
I think just like established territories, I have a lead, so I felt like you have to do something somewhere in the center.
How big is the
Um,
lead now? Is it like 7 points? 10 points?
um, let's see, 5 points.
5 points, okay.
Yeah. I think here I entered Byoyomi.
Yeah, and me too. I was also in Biomi here, I think, and
Yeah.
this was not a good time to be in Biomi. And I created this problem for myself on the right side. Like both
Yeah.
Q12 and R8 just leave so many weaknesses.
I just wanted to play here, but doesn't mind like the start of the variation too much.
Mm.
Um, like here it says it's still kind of okay if you just play here. Like you didn't lose so much in the local variation.
What's the continuation here when white just plays R10?
Um,
S11?
my AI is like I'm using AI Sensei and my internet
I
is
could
kind of bad
pull it
on
up
my
myself.
computer right. I don't know.
I will check for myself.
Yeah.
So
And then my next mistake was this Atari, which makes sense, I think. Like later I have potential to get this kind of move instead. So there, and it's not really that urgent, I think. So I should just separate here.
yeah, I was scared you would do this.
Yeah.
So that's why I changed my mind again
But
here.
actually, yeah, you should still defend. This
Yeah,
is a big mistake. It loses 13 points according to my Katago.
yeah. I didn't. I was just scared about the top group, but I lose way too much. Both your group becoming so strong and like my Q8 stone sort of dying as a
Yeah.
consequence.
Mm,
Because I'm still so weak with this.
yeah. Apparently this is kind of annoying for you as well.
Yeah, I was scared about this too in the game because now I would play R13, but then
Yeah. It may be
I have to
much better
choose.
separate.
Yeah, I think I would just connect at 5 instead here. Maybe I don't know. Give the 3 stones in the center.
Mm,
Um,
probably, but then this is still like really good for me, no?
yeah, it's very annoying for me. But then at least I can say like another play like S9 or something.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess.
but yeah, it's still very bad for me.
Yeah.
And here also when I play S9, I thought, oh, what if you just play like R11? Seems like really annoying.
Mm, yeah. Um, yeah, that's much better. So instead you should play there
Yeah, S9
immediately.
is really bad move.
Um, but yeah, this is like 7 points mistake and continues to be the best move. Like
Mm.
you should play there.
Yeah.
And after the jump, I should still play here. So I guess this will be the case for a while, yeah. All right, yeah, until you exchange it. Basically, every move we should play there instead. Yeah. I feel like in this fighting you gained a lot back.
Yeah, here it
I was not.
suddenly like it went from so bad, and then I thought I might have caught back up, but apparently I was still always behind. But this felt very good.
Yeah, yeah. It's like yeah, but in terms of points, it's like here I'm basically still at the best point. Um, but yeah, this this move was a mistake by me. Yeah, but it's still like 22 points at this point. So not too bad yet. But I made some bad mistakes, bad exchanges later. And here I'm supposed to play from the outside, which
Yeah,
I
that
guess,
makes sense.
yeah, like your groups, yeah, like no point in separating it if it's alive anyway. Up there, I was sort of fishing for RG, but I don't think there's actually much at this point. Yeah, so here, if you play this one, it's back to only +7 for me.
Yeah, I thought there was no rush to play here, but then suddenly it was too late. But
Yeah, I felt like after this jump, I didn't understand why you answered again.
I was just so at this point, I thought, oh, maybe I caught back up, and I thought I should just be safe with this group. Instead of like, if you get to save, pull out that stone, K7, then I don't have too clear eyes with my group.
Yeah,
So I was just scared for my group, basically.
yeah, okay. Yeah, here this trait is pretty good for me again. Like,
So
I
how?
go from being at 10
Yeah,
to being up 20.
what happened here? Like, I should. So when you play, yeah, so I should still exchange J11, I guess.
Yeah,
Or
and
it seems.
I can play something like this maybe, but it's not safe. I'll probably have to. Let's see. It gets. I think Katago just like in a variation that I saw, it throws away these stones, saves these, and says that white. Well, I shouldn't mark them the same way. Save the one on the left,
Yeah.
and white still wins by a small margin. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So when I
Of course,
played M14, I just thought that was Senta, I didn't consider that you could play H12. And then when you play it, I realized, oh, that's very big.
yeah,
Still, since I didn't know the sizes here, I thought, okay, I got good profit on the right sides. But okay, now I'm back to losing big.
yeah, yeah. Now it's like 20 points again. Let's see. I think in the end game there was still some stuff. Like here, apparently you can just go through, and I have some life and death issues, I think.
Maybe you have to spend a move on S19 or
And I was a little bit worried actually in the game. Yeah, I do have to answer here, and then you get to play there.
Okay, that would have been. I should have seen that. That's not so complicated, actually. But I
Yeah,
didn't realize. But also, maybe it's not so, like here. Yeah, I guess if it's center for me, go down, you should still. I even thought here if you would Tanuki instead of 018. But
yeah. I mean, I guess like it's similar to if you go through and then I have to live, right?
yeah, then we go back to the
So
liberation. Yeah, so since it's center, then it makes sense that you respond.
yeah. Okay, and I flopped in the center. Um, yeah, my move here was pretty small.
It was a hard endgame. I think we both made like big mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, I was worried about like this thing. But
Yeah. I was planning to save it there soon, so I realized we play there. But I guess you can play from.
it's not big enough yet. Um, yeah. Apparently, like here, when you play this, it's still biggest for me to capture here, and for you to connect here. It's
Yeah.
like 3 points better.
Hmm.
And still, when you play here, I should also still capture here.
Mm-hmm. I also wondered here if I could play just h11 immediately. Maybe that's not even good, but instead of f11.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because I
Um,
wasn't able to read out like if you cut, uh,
mm,
if you cut G10, I guess I Atari G12, but it's kind of a messy. Oh, I just do it this way. Okay,
I think that works for you, yeah.
yeah,
Like you win by 1 liberty.
that works. I was seeing instead of G11, I would play G12, but this is um,
Mm.
that is simpler.
Here you gained a little bit, I think. Oh, actually, no. What is this? Okay, when you play here, I can cut,
Hmm.
and I win the capture race after this.
I see. So this is very similar to the variation I was worrying about before, but now for some reason I didn't see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was not even considering that, to be honest. Um, oh, I made one more mistake on the left side here. Apparently, it's better to play this one.
Hmm.
I was worried about this.
Yeah, this looks. What's the plan here? To fight the Ko, or seems like you shouldn't give up the
Yeah,
stones in the center.
yeah. You do fight the call.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
guess the call is kind of big for you too, because if I win the call, I think you have to connect at e6.
Yeah, or play C1 or something, right?
Yeah, live somehow.
Mm.
Yeah,
Always with this Joseki, it's so annoying when white plays B1. Like it doesn't feel fair
yeah,
that B1 is like kind of white center.
yeah.
That's what you have to deal with. Um,
We made one more mistake at the very end with the trade.
Wait, can I just go back
Like,
first? Yeah, this one. I was so
yeah,
annoyed. I should just Atari before, right? Like if
you can capture now, and then I would capture here, but you capture here. Like, it's
oh, okay.
bigger for you to capture the 3 stones than for me to capture the 2 stones.
Interesting. So that was the mistake. I thought the mistake was that I should have Atari earlier because you got such a good result in the game. Like if I just Atari before you, if you go back a bit,
Mm, yeah,
like before you play e6, basically.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
but then I still had a chance there.
like now.
Yeah, because you would respond now, right? Like, and then I don't have to worry about that trade.
Yeah.
But okay, so I could have. Wait, so do the trade again? Like, so I take 3 stones, you take 2 stones. That's basically it.
Yeah. And
Uh,
you will to defend your 3 stones. And then we both have endgames left with the captures. So
mm,
I guess I would capture
mm.
and you would capture.
It's not super obvious to me that I gain there, but at least like compared to the game where you get to play h7.
Yeah.
But you still
I
get to
think
play
it's
H7
not so
here.
much you gain something here, but more like you lose something in the game
Yeah,
because I get this incentive.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's it.
Cool. Yeah, it was solid game from you. You stayed in the lead there throughout.
Actually, move 28 according to my Katago. You were ahead.
Yeah, okay, because you played a slightly dubious thing on the left there.
Yeah.
That's very very minor. Like how many points?
0.1. Good for you.
Yes. Uh, okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for the game and the review, and
Thank you. Well,
I will hope I can get revenge next time. We've been alternating so far, right? Was it you won first one, I won
yeah.
next one?
Yes,
So
exactly.
I will try
Um,
to get you
how
back
was
next
it
time.
with colors? I think I put random every time, so I was black the first game and then white twice in a row now. So
Uh,
it's not, yeah,
okay,
like,
yeah. I don't. Doesn't feel like it matters so much when it's spread out. You know, like it feels like if you're playing several games in one session, it's nice to alternate. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
when it's a week in between, like it doesn't really matter too much. Maybe I was about to suggest it for today, but then I didn't. But maybe we should try sometime just to play some quicker, like 3 fast games instead.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, is that
We
something you would
can.
be interested in?
Yeah, I mean, today I enjoyed playing a longer game because I hadn't played a serious game yet
Mm,
for today. Um, yeah,
yeah, I mean, I like both types of game, and I feel like kind of there's some what I usually play just on Fox is this kind of medium length, a game that takes like an hour. I rarely play
yeah,
these like longer serious games, but I also rarely play. I feel like something that's hard to get against some random player online is this like if you play like three games in a row and get a feeling of, uh, that you have kind of a match score, try to do a best of three
yeah.
or something like that. That can be kind of fun also to do when you play with someone you know.
If you want to, when we're in the same time zone again, we can try like a really long game, like EGC time settings or something like that.
I think, yeah, we could do that, but I think what I find more intriguing then is just to play this kind of longer, like play like 5 faster games. I feel like
Yeah,
would be fun because then you get to. I like the idea of, losing one game, but then like jumping into okay, I will try to get him next time, like immediately. Um,
mm,
I feel like
I
that's
see.
more. I don't know, but we can try anything. But I think
Yeah.
EGC. I
I
never played
really,
anything. What is EGC like? How long is that?
uh, depends on your rank. Like
Right.
the top
Mm.
boards more time. But like the very top 2.5 hours per person plus Byoyomi, and below that 2 hours per person.
Mm. Yeah, basically, I've never played any tournament game at that time setting. I have played like really slow live games just with like friends. Like I played some games sometime where we like sat all day and pretended we
Yeah,
were these like old Japanese players who just like sat and thought for 30 minutes about one move. So I have that experience like a couple years ago, but I've never done it in like serious tournament games. I think no,
yeah,
I think it would be. It's not my ideal format for like an online game, like sitting sitting in front of the screen for that long. So yeah, I think I would
yeah.
prefer the faster ones. But yeah, we'll talk about it. When is it you're coming
I'm
to Germany?
beginning of October.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess until
I'm
then,
glad
this.
I didn't. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, this time is seems like while we're in these time zones, I think this time is a better one for me than the other one we did, which is my evening, your morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, you were saying something.
I'm glad I didn't lose today because last time I lost, I went on the 9-game losing streak afterwards.
Okay, so now you'll go on a 9-game winning streak.
Hopefully, I need to win 4 games straight to not demote.
Mm.
Because I won the first 2 games. I think I'm like uh what is it, 7-11 right now or something like that. Like I played well except for the 9 games in a row that I lost.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ignore those. Everything else is fine. Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah,
Cool.
but I got 2 more accounts at 7 dan, so I guess I don't have to play 6 dans if I don't want to. But we'll see.
Yeah, backups. Yeah. I'm enjoying my time down at 6 down here while I'm working my way back up. It's good to have some easier games for a while.
Yeah,
Mm.
it can be fun,
It will take me a while
especially
to.
when you play the faster games. I think.
Mm. All right. Thanks for today. Talk to you next time.
Yep.
Bye bye.
See you. Bye.
Yes, that will also do it for the stream. Thanks you for watching, and see you in the next one.